Kellyanne, first off, when asked if Trump still supports the creation of a deportation force, you responded, "To be determined," and that made a lot of news. Will he reverse his stance on mass deportation?
And me saying "to be determined" actually followed, Sandra, about three of the same explanations to the question I was being asked by CNN, which is, what is he saying? Is he changing course? So let me answer that. I was in that meeting on Saturday. It was a great meeting where the Hispanic Roundtable participants from across the country were talking about immigration, but also talking about home ownership, how important it is to the Hispanic and Latino community, small business formation. They were talking about the difficulty to get access to capital and reminding us just how really robust the Hispanic and Latino community is in entrepreneurship across this country. We talk about national security, jobs, and on the issue of immigration, what Donald Trump said in that actual meeting differed not one iota from what he said in his convention speech or what he said previously, which is that he wants a fair and humane way of dealing with the 11 million who live among us. And at the same time, though, he wants to secure the border, build the wall, and he wants to be very fair to American workers who feel like they are competing for these jobs now, with whether you're competing with a factory worker or a robot in China or you're competing with an illegal immigrant here. Many Americans feel that they can't find meaningful, well-paying jobs because of that. So we need to be fair to everyone, including the 11 million.
Okay, so to be fair, there's no change in stance on that and building a wall.
No change in stance on that.
Okay, any discussions about that would have made anybody think that in that meeting?
No, and one thing that struck me about that meeting is how many issues were covered. I think that people are just too stereotyped by, pollsters love to put them into little demographic boxes. So if you're a woman, we can only talk about this. If you're Hispanic, we can only... It was a wonderful, far-reaching conversation about school choice and charters, about small business formation, access to capital, about national security, certainly about home ownership. So it was a very far-reaching one. On immigration, they were exchanging ideas, and if you go back and you look at his speech from just last month, what he said there is what he said on Saturday in this meeting.
Okay, and I want to get to this because he has sent out several tweets in the past hour, Kellyanne, and in an interview recently, Donald Trump says that he doesn't hurl personal insults. I'm sorry, this was you. You saying he doesn't hurl personal insults. Well, in the past hour, he has sent out several tweets where he is criticizing a female news anchor and her personal relationship with that anchor and their ability to cover the news. Are those personal insults, and is that contrary to what you said Trump will not be doing?
No, it's not. What I was saying is he doesn't hurl personal insults gratuitously, meaning until he's attacked first. And look, he has a right to defend himself. I am told, because we have interns monitoring all of these shows, I am told that show, particularly this morning, has been an unending anti-Trump screed, which is very unfortunate because that particular show, a competitor of yours, so I won't mention, but that particular show was pretty good to us last week for the first time in a while. Like, hey, this looks and feels a little bit differently. He's on message. He's not bragging about himself. He's not attacking the media. And then this morning, it all comes back to drop out of the race. Now, if somebody's going to say he should drop out of the race and he should let himself be replaced, and he's made the sacrifice of 14 months, quite successfully, by the way, to run for president of the United States, he has a right to defend himself. Sandra, I would say I'm completely shocked by the way some people in the media who are reporters are treating this race. I mean, they have laid down any pretense of fair, objective, or complete coverage. And if you look at the Twitter feed of some of them, it's an anti-Trump screed. I do think he has an opportunity to defend himself.
So, Kellyanne, in the primaries, Trump was consistently blowing out everybody, the other 16 candidates. And you're the polling expert, if the election were held today, it looks like it would be a bloodbath. So what are you going to do between now and November to turn it around, to get the kind of lead that we saw in the primaries?
So that's only partly true, according to some polls. I would say right now we're behind. But I like being behind because it really lights a fire under us to do what we need to do. But I predict over the next week or two, you'll see these polls tightening again because people like when you act presidential. How is it to act presidential? Acting presidential is going down to Louisiana with your running mate, Governor Pence, when people there are in need.